Sunday morning, so Trevor and I are headed out right now over to Whole Foods, which is where we typically get most of our groceries from. Trevor hates being in the videos. I wanted to bring you guys along so that you could see how it is that I organize my meal planning for the week, how I pick out my vegetables and everything along those lines, and the types of meals that I make to go along with that. I'm going to be covering the type of meals that I have for a week of intermittent fasting, which is what I follow anyway. So the meals that I'm planning out for this week are mostly from my intermittent fasting program, but I do have a couple other ones that still follow the nutrient timing. Usually Trevor and I will go on Saturdays instead of Sundays. Pro tip, because Sundays are crazy. So we like to go on Saturdays so that we don't have to deal with like the rush, and you get a better selection of food if it's on Saturdays because it's not all picked through. So the thing that I do, I always plan out my meals on the note section of my phone just because it's all there and then it's easy and it's accessible. So as you guys can see, the way I organize it is by day. So I'll plan out Monday through Thursday because typically Trevor and I go out to dinner on Fridays, so we don't make dinner on Fridays. Our breakfasts and lunches all pretty much are the same, so we don't really have to write those out. I always have either a smoothie or a chia brekkie bowl, which you guys can see I have a chia brekkie bowl using the Greek yogurt plan for my breakfast this week. All of this is again following the nutrient timing from the complete intermittent fasting bundle to make sure that with intermittent fasting that you have the stable blood glucose levels, no energy crashes. Especially when I'm filming and creating content and meeting with people all day, it's really important for me to make sure that I don't have those crashes in energy so that I can perform at my best. Under need is where I'll list out all of the actual food items that I need. So it's really easy because you can put down like, okay, I'm having green monster on Wednesday, so then I'll just write out on under the need all the things that I need for that. And it's best to do this when you're at your house so that you can make sure that you actually have everything, or that you don't buy double of things. Like for example, there's some bulk items that I'll get, like chia seeds, where I don't necessarily need them every week, but I'll forget if I ran out. So that's why it's good to make sure you do this at your house. I'll just write out everything that I need under this needs section. That way I can also cross it off or delete it once I have it at the grocery store too. So that way you also don't need to have like another piece of paper that you have to carry around. So you always have, for the most part, your phone with you. So it's an easy thing to just keep your meals on track as well without needing like a dedicated meal planner. From Whole Foods, so now I'm just going to be putting everything away and I can go over with you guys what I just bought and how I'm actually going to be using it. So the whole point of the meals that I'm having is of course to keep me satiated, to make me feel good, and also to get that stable blood glucose level so that I don't get those energy crashes. I always like to have bubbly water or sparkling water on hand. I usually just get the Whole Foods Italian sparkling water. I usually have this with my dinner because it just feels like a little something like special, because I don't really drink wine very often, and I'm not a big beer drinker either. So it just is like a nice relaxing thing at the end of the night for me. I'll even sometimes add in some lemon to it. This is still during my eating window because, you know, if you add too much lemon to your sparkling water, that could break your fast. So I'll have this along with my dinner, and I just really like it as like a little treat. Now this week for my lunch, I'm having an egg scramble with a bunch of different veggies and fats. And that's why I also got that sun-dried tomato bruschetta, which, oh my gosh, I just recently discovered it and I want to recreate it so I can have full control on what's going into it. But It tastes so good. It's like a Mediterranean type of egg scramble. So I'm still getting the protein, still getting the fat, still getting the fiber. It's just not in my normal salad format that I would typically have. I just have been feeling like something warm since it's still the winter time. It's a little bit chilly, saying that as I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt. But for LA, it's a little chilly. I got a dozen eggs so that I can have a couple eggs a day. Now, I didn't get this at Whole Foods because you can't get it at Whole Foods, but I do have a ton of purity in my fridge right now. I think I have like 5 bags of it because we've just gone on vacation, and so I had a lot that like piled up from when we weren't using it while we were there. And I use Purity. It's the mold-free organic coffee that helps to just make it so I don't get the anxiety that I typically get from really moldy coffees, and it of course doesn't have pesticides. Lately, I've also been making the chia brekkie bowls that I really like. I've done a couple of videos on these in the past, so you can check it out right here. I've been liking using Greek yogurt as the base, like a full fat Greek yogurt that is going to have the fat as well as the protein. So lately, since I have been upping my workouts, I've been wanting to make sure I am getting enough protein and enough bioavailable protein. So I've swapped out the coconut portion of that chia brekkie bowl recipe that you guys know for Greek yogurt. And that just makes it so that you do get more protein and it's a little more satiating and helps with muscle repair too. And this is the brand I've been using. So as long as you get grass-fed organic, then that's perfect. There are some other brands that you can get, and there's probably local brands that you can find too, but this one, the Stonyfield Organic, is one that's in most places. Sophie! Sophie! Now Trevor's been really liking adding coconut cream into his smoothie as like a really good fat source. So I got the organic coconut cream. If you have like actual coconuts that you can get at your Whole Foods, then you can just use the meat portion of that too. If you don't have it, then you can just get the organic coconut cream. Not as great of an option as just straight from the coconut, but this is still a better option as a fat source for your smoothies or your chia brekkie bowls. Now, I didn't have to buy this, but this is something I would typically get in bulk at Whole Foods. So these are chia seeds, of course. I use it in my smoothies and my chia brekkie bowls, mostly those 2 things, but I eat those a lot, so I always have chia seeds on hand. Also, really great source of fiber to really bump up the fiber for your break fast when you go to break your fast for intermittent fasting. So one of the meals I'm making is like a baked chicken and lemon and white wine thing. I don't really have a recipe or name for it. It's just this thing I always make. I got some bone-in, skin-in chicken breast. If you get the chicken without the skin or the bone, it's not as moist and it can dry out a lot easier. So I like to get the bone on, skin on. Typically, I get my meats lately from Butcher Box because they do have a lot higher quality and it's a pretty reasonable price too. So I do have a skirt steak grass-fed option that I'm thawing out right now in the fridge too. So I didn't have to get that from Whole Foods, but that's what I'm going to be using for my like beef and broccoli recipe this week. Okay, so something else I got that I've been having a lot of lately are olives. I like to switch up my fat sources as well as my protein sources just so I get a variety of nutrients in. So olives I've been adding into my egg scrambles lately for like that Mediterranean type of scramble. And this is that tomato bruschetta, sun-dried tomato bruschetta that I got. This is not the ideal option. This is me being really lazy. I want to actually recreate this and eventually share the recipe with you guys because it's so good, but it's still a pretty like not bad option. The main ingredients are just sun-dried tomato, tomato paste, basil, olive oil, Grana Padano cheese, which I actually went and visited the Grana Padano factory in Italy, which is really cool. Walnuts, garlic, pine nuts. So it's almost like a pesto with sun-dried tomatoes. It's so good, really good on eggs just to switch it up from normal like salsa or hot sauce. Lately, I haven't been using protein powder since I have been using the Greek yogurt as for my chia brekkie bowls, but I also am going to be having some smoothies this week and I wanted to switch up my bless you. And I wanted to switch up my protein source. I've been using Ancient Nutrition for a long time. Bless you. I wanted to find another option just to switch it up, just get variety. Ancient Nutrition is a fantastic brand. I love it, but I wanted to try out a different whey protein powder. So I haven't tried this brand, so I'll let you guys know what I think, but it's called Terra's Whey. And if you guys haven't seen my video on like rating dairy products, definitely recommend checking it out because whey is something that can be useful if you do use dairy products as a protein source for weight loss. And especially because we do use a lot of smoothies going to break your fast. So having some type of protein source to make sure that the smoothie is satiating is really important. So if you're not going to use like yogurt, you could also use like a plant-based protein. I like to use whey and plant-based, kind of switch it up. So this is one that I'm going to be testing out. I like it because it's really minimal in ingredients. You'll see that when we were checking it out, we were like really analyzing all the different ones. There's another one that I want to try out, but you have to order it, and it's called Piori, I think. But that one is one of the highest rated for not having like any type of contaminants. So definitely one that I want to check out next. But this one's great because it only has the whey protein, and then like it uses stevia and organic vanilla. So it's pretty minimal on what it has. So I got chocolate and vanilla to test out. All right, so for my chia brekkie bowls, I like to really load it up with a lot of different fats and different textures just to make it really tasty. So I've been using cashews, but clearly these aren't gonna be enough cashews for the week, so I got some more. I just get the organic, nothing added on it cashews. That way there's no sugar and there's no oils that it's roasted in that can cause it to be oxidized and more inflammatory. Also, if you're just new to, in general, switching away from snacks to more of a 3-meal structure and using it with intermittent fasting, including cashews or some other type of nut or seed as a snack to have while you sort of wean yourself off of having snacks, that's such a better option than having like, you know, like an apple that's not going to be as satiating, or a protein bar, which, as you guys know, not a big fan of, which is why you won't see any protein bars or energy bars in this grocery haul. Now, this is my latest find that I really like, and it's the coconut smiles. It's in the bulk section at Whole Foods, and it's these organic, thicker things of coconut flakes, or I wouldn't even call it coconut flakes, like coconut shreds, or like, I don't know. Check these out. You can see that they still have some of the original outer shell on it, but they're thicker, so they're a little more satiating than if you were to have just like really thin coconut shreds. I don't know if they have these at all Whole Foods or if they have something similar, but it's literally just dried inside of a coconut, which is great. It doesn't have any sweetener or anything or any other thing added on it. Now, I was pretty bummed they didn't have the bigger thing of olive oil. I usually get the much bigger one, so it lasts me like 2 weeks instead of a week. This is all they had, so I got some olive oil. I also will get grass-fed butter. I'm pretty stocked on that, so I don't need it, but that's for my keto coffee, as well as I like to cook my eggs in it, just like tastes better. So here's the basil for the pesto I'm going to be making. The pesto recipe I have is also for my Level Up guide. It's pretty simple, it's fresh, it's really delicious, and I add a ton of garlic because garlic is everything. I'm having a lot of broccoli this week because I have 2 different recipes that I'm using for broccoli. This is one really great tip, especially for just simplifying your grocery haul or just making it so that you don't have to buy a lot of different ingredients. I like to use a couple of the same vegetables each week and then switch it up each week. So I have 2 recipes that are going to be using broccoli. One is the Green Monster and one is that like beef and broccoli recipe I'm making. So I doubled up on the broccoli. And if you're making the broccoli detox soup that I have in my 7-day intermittent fasting detox, you can even save the stalks, take off the outer layer, which is more fibrous-y, and use the inner stalks to thicken up the soup as well. So, little tip. Also got some of the ground peanut butter that you can grind there, which is nice because then you can see exactly what's in it. It's freshly ground, so it can just decrease the oxidation. So when you actually go to grind one of the nuts, it makes it so that those oils inside the nuts are exposed to air, which then causes oxidation. By freshly grinding it, just popping in the fridge, that helps to just decrease oxidation rather than buying the pre-ground. But there are a lot of really great pre-ground ones you can get as well, as long as you just make sure there's no, added oils or added sugars or anything like that. It's just the nut or seed itself. And for the peanut butter, I'll stir it into my chia brekkie bowl if I don't feel like having the cashews, or obviously I'll put it in my smoothies. Okay, so I also got berries, and strawberries are one of the lower sugar fruits, even compared to things like blueberries. So this is to actually top my chia brekkie bowl with. I try and be able to split this up over the full week so I don't awkwardly have to buy like 1.5 of these for the week and have half of it go bad. So it ends up being about like 4 or 5 strawberries. That amounts to, I don't know, maybe a half a cup's worth of strawberries that I'll put on top of my chia brekkie bowl. These are just the organic strawberries that I get from Whole Foods, and that adds a little bit of sweetness to the chia brekkie bowl without loading it up on sugar and making it so it's going to cause the spikes and falls in blood glucose and therefore the crashes. Now, if you're interested in testing out one of those chia brekkie bowls I mentioned that I'm actually going to be making this week, you can check out the recipe right here. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love the science-backed information on how you can achieve your wellness dreams, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out with new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me for the grocery haul, and I'll see you in my next video.